let's turn it around so that the stained side's not on the camera.
Okay, turn it this way. Look away! Oh, I'm not gonna look.
I killed a
The
few
thing that really jumped out at me was when they were moving the mattress, pointed out the stains, and then she was like, none of that is semen. Not a single drop was wasted. I'm a good Mormon girl. What? Oh my gosh.
I love that Heather's like flip-flopping back and forth between whether she's a good Mormon or a bad Mormon. And in this case, she's both a good Mormon and a bad Mormon, it seems.
Sometimes to be a good Mormon, you got to be a bad Mormon.
Rest assured, these are not sex stains, okay?
We got momentum.
Not one sperm was spilt on the mattress. Go way low, Whitney. Whoa! God does not like waste, and I was a good Mormon.
Hello and welcome to the Bravo Outsider Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Midwinter, and today I'm joined by Tim Gray. Tim, we are talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 11, and I thought that this was a pretty fun one. I'm curious what your take was on this.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Some calming moments there with the bonsai tree. It's important to get into therapy. And if you can get into therapy with a camera crew and your daughter, that's going to be a good time for me. Well, yeah, I thought it was a good one. The wives were out. The fangs were out. Nothing too crazy, but certainly some entertainment, that's for sure.
Yeah, the scene that you mentioned about Brittany and her daughter in the therapy session was a real standout in terms of like the emotional arc of the episode.
For sure.
I really liked it. Was there like a fight or like a storytelling moment within the episode that really like hooked you?
The moment at the end when the two ladies are on the bench and they're having a conversation, and it's just such a classic line that is going to lead to more drama when somebody says, I'm sorry that maybe your feelings were hurt. Putting it entirely on them. I'm sorry that you feel like your feelings were hurt. That's just, you're just laying a bedrock for another argument in the future. But
totally. And you know what? Like those kind of non-apologies where it's like, I'm sorry you felt that way are so common on these shows. And usually that is like picked up on by the other housewives. But we got a few of those this episode that, just slid by. Like in the initial scene that we got at the brunch, Lisa let one go as well. She was just dancing around taking accountability, and I'm surprised that no one jumped on that. I'm less surprised at the end in the scene that we get between Meredith and Brittany, because
that was set up for that type of a moment.
Well, Brittany is like just not really skilled at playing the housewife game. She's just kind of like wandering blindly through this whole process. And I'm not entirely surprised. And I think that, she really wants to find some stability here just because she doesn't really have a lot of footing within the group. So
she needs to put her in an awkward position because she needs to get a foothold back in this group. She wasn't even invited to the brunch for Christian's sake. And
So this conflict that we get between Meredith and Brittany that, we end up seeing a bit of a resolution at the end. Having no context here, are you able to kind of piece together what has happened, or what do you suspect has happened that has led up to this moment?
I don't know. Like you've had me as a guest now for a few times on this show, and I always love it. I appreciate it. I love you, Craig. I love you so much. You mean the world to me. And but it's just interesting that when I first came on as a guest for this podcast, I really had no reference point for like these relationships and stuff like that. Now that I've been on a few, and I've picked up episodes here and there. We've done a Salt Lake City episode before, so I'm a little bit familiar with this cast of women. I find them to be extremely fascinating, to be honest with you. They really are an interesting bunch, and the way they navigate their interpersonal relationships is nothing short of entertaining, to be sure. I don't know what the specifics are. It's just like, I know that they were shit talking on a plane, obviously. And I don't really know the context of that. Like, were they all on a plane together? And like, was it a PJ or what? And they're going somewhere. And then Meredith starts running her mouth, and maybe she thinks other people can't hear her or whatnot. I thought
you're starting to describe the ending of Crazy Rich Asians, by the way.
Oh shit! Did I just accidentally describe the ending to Crazy Rich Asians? I didn't even see that movie. I fell asleep, actually. Oh, were you sleep talking? Because I heard you talking the whole time.
I know that you haven't been watching this season, so you're coming in completely blind here.
Yes.
What was the juiciest nugget from this episode?
The juiciest nugget from this episode? My gosh. Shit. Okay, Craig, let me know, when was the last time you moved a mattress out of your house? And how many stains did you have on it? And how many cameras did you have filming the mattress? Definitely, like, I don't mean to just be gross and crass, but the thing that really jumped out at me was when they were moving the mattress, pointed out the stains, and then she was like, none of that is semen. Not a single drop was wasted. I'm a good Mormon girl. What? Oh my gosh.
I love that Heather's like flip-flopping back and forth between whether she's a good Mormon or a bad Mormon. And in this case, she's both a good Mormon and a bad Mormon, it seems.
Sometimes to be a good Mormon, you got to be a bad Mormon.
Okay, well, how about in terms of how this was presented? Do you have a favorite like shot or moment that stands out to you in terms of the presentation?
So remind me again the name of the housewife that was on the bonsai tree excursion.
Bronwyn. Okay,
Bronwyn. Yeah, I find that anytime that there's discussions with Bronwyn about her personal life, about her family, about that kind of stuff, I'm always like really engaged and intrigued. And Bronwyn actually inspired me. I was good. Next time you have me on the podcast, I want to wear like a ridiculous outfit. I mean, it just seems fun, like the extremes that they go to with what they wear for whatever the occasion. But I thought the way that was presented was interesting. You got the daughter and you got the mom, and it kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. The discussion of maybe the daughter moving to New York City. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
I think it was Portland that she wanted to move.
Portland, right.
Yeah.
There was a line there where she says, like her daughter is going on, like looking forward to the best years of her life, a kind of thing. And then Bronwyn says, like, my time with my daughter growing up, that was my best time of my life.
Yeah.
And that, that was like, oh man, I'm like, oh, I should have had kids. What am I doing?
That was my favorite quote as well. And also what stood out to me in terms of how this episode was presented. I think like, there's so much here that was really meaty. I think the contrast that we get from the scene immediately before it, where we've got Brittany and her strained relationship with her daughter trying to overcome that within therapy. And then that's immediately contrasted with Bronwyn, who has a very close relationship with her daughter, seemingly. And we have her trying to hold on to that. And I really enjoyed that contrast. I think that it added a lot of weight to both sides of that reflection.
Yeah.
And the way that it is presented with them actually like digging at the roots of these trees and like uprooting these trees while they're talking about, uprooting Bronwyn's life and everyone moving away from her. It's very on the nose. The metaphor is like right in your face as they're stabbing the roots of these trees with chopsticks. And everything, the foundation is being shook, and Bronwyn's foundation is being shook. I just really loved how on the nose this visual device was within this scene.
Yeah. Go ahead. Have you ever messed with the bonsai tree before? Is that something you feel like you would have the patience for?
So longtime viewers of this podcast will remember a time where I used to have a plant somewhere up here. And if you were watching over the years, you would slowly watch this thing die. So
that is hilarious.
I don't think I am the person that is going to be taking care of a bonsai tree.
You got to cut together like a highlight reel of all the clips of that tree slowly dying over the years.
Time lapse, yeah. We can start doing it with this cactus right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this cactus here.
You gotta check it out on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube. Watch this cactus slowly die, and.
But your kids are okay, right? You're feeding them, you're watering them.
Yeah, they're fine. All right. How about in terms of like themes within this episode? Did any themes jump out at you?
I just feel like it was an interesting theme of like moving on, not necessarily moving on, but the process of moving on to the next stage of your life, and how it can be hard and it can be stained. That kind of resonated with me. That kind of stood out to me. A lot of people kind of reckoning with the moment that they need to move on from, and maybe taking some accountability for some stuff they did in the past that's put them in the place they are today.
Totally. So the theme that jumped out at me was forgiveness, but I think your more broader definition of moving on actually captures this a bit better, because it truly is like a fulcrum episode. We are seeing, like you mentioned, Heather is moving on with this huge gesture of, getting rid of her stained mattress. We have Brittany trying to move forward with her daughter. We've got Bronwyn, dealing with the transition that she's in with both her mother and her daughter both moving out. And it's really interesting to see all of these women simultaneously experiencing this moment where they're trying to move on. And I really love how deeply nested this is within both this episode, but within this season as a whole, because we're seeing this also impact people like Mary in the last episode, where her church is reopening, and we're getting her entering a new portion of her life where she's back in front of her congregation. We're seeing this with Lisa coming to a head with her husband, John, this conflict that they have. So it really is fascinating to watch this. There's so much going on for all these women. They all have very rich storylines. And I think that's one of the things that is making this franchise so much more interesting to watch than other franchises right now, because everyone has something really compelling going on, and they're all in a state of transition. Yeah.
And they're really laying it out. They're really bearing it all for the cameras. It's still very interesting to me that this genre of television exists, and it's so thriving, and it's so embraced, and there's so many people that relate to it. Like, do you feel like reality TV on some level is like an extension of like the Sanford prison experiment?
So that's a good question. I feel like some competitive reality TV shows are maybe a bit more like that, just because there's structures in place that impose those dynamics on people that kind of force them into that situation. Like Love Island or whatever. Love Island, Big Brother, Traitors, that sort of thing.
Nothing about the drama in particular this episode feels forced at all. I mean, I would imagine sometimes, like they have to have these large dinners, they have to have these large gatherings, they have to get all the girls together, and a lot of that is like, I think, so that drama and problems can like percolate or come to a head or whatnot. There's something kind of tragic to me about that, like just in terms of what a friendship is. And because I kind of had this recently in my personal life where like somebody that I thought I was friends with, we were sharing some, I was sharing something that somebody did that kind of upset me, but it's not a big deal. I'd really just like get it off my chest that one time to this one person and then never think about it again, like just move on with my life. But then that person brings it up to the person that I was kind of complaining about, as well as a group of what I feel are my friends, but I'm not there. And so then this group has this big conversation without me being able to put my 2 cents in about something that I thought I was just getting off my chest to somebody. I mean, I guess I didn't say, don't tell anybody about this, because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But now, now everyone had this big old fight or whatever, and I didn't get to be a part of it. So I'm just wondering if like that's what friendship is once you get to like 5-6 people involved and really only have like 1 or 2 friends in life.
Yeah, it's interesting because like that is a betrayal that I think that a lot of people can relate to feeling that way. And this kind of gamifies it. And like you said, there is like a almost incentive. It's got like reality TV is just, it's so nihilist. There's like it's so defeating of your hope in humanity that we can kind of like, I don't know, it's blood sport. It's emotional blood sport. And that's one of the things that I really kind of love about it. Like you can engage with those feelings on some level without having to actually feel them. So
Because there's nothing worse than like being in a interpersonal conflict akin to what you see on these types of shows. Because it's just like you got to go to bed and wake up every day with this like hanging over you. But it's really nice to watch from afar. There's a great Harris Whittles was like a comedian and a writer and stuff like that. He passed away a few years ago, but he came up with that term humble brag, which kind of blew up everywhere. But he had he had a great quote just about humanity, about how everyone is horrible and wonderful and just trying to figure it out. And I feel like that really comes through.
I think like, that's definitely an accurate way to describe humanity, but more specifically the Real Housewives and the type of sport that is engaged with on these shows.
What do you think about Todd? Is Todd a bad guy? Bronwyn's like, I'll get rid of Todd if you'll stay.
Okay, so he totally is. But I'm wondering, like, we don't really see him here. So what's your frame of reference for Todd?
I don't know if I have one. I mean, I feel like I maybe would have seen him in the past, but I think I watched like the season finale of last year. I believe that was one that I did watch around there. And I just don't really remember seeing Todd in anything. And Todd is just like this reference point of like, you can shit on Todd. Maybe he's worth being shitted on. I don't know.
The storyline that we have for Bronwyn and Todd so far this season is really interesting because last season we saw them. It seemed like there was a lot of tension and a lot of conflict, and he really talks down to her. And just overall, it comes across as a piece of shit. And then we still have that tension carry through the beginning of this season until we reach a point where there's all this past history, these allegations of fraud that are leaked to the press about Bronwyn. And it's all from like 20 years ago or something like that. And we get a scene between Bronwyn and Todd where it seems like they are like dealing with this together. Like it's maybe the closest that we've seen them.
Interesting.
They're approaching this situation that they have, and they have to deal with it as a couple because it impacts obviously Bronwyn's life, but also Todd within his workplace. And then a few episodes later, after we get this group trip that takes place on a yacht, as soon as we get back, there is this story about Todd seemingly having like messages or looking at other women in lingerie, caught like on an airplane on his phone, like looking at other women, and that is causing a huge conflict between Todd and Bronwyn. I mean, obviously, I think that he's a huge piece of shit, but it is interesting that we've seen it kind of ebb and flow, the closeness here. And I think like one of the things that makes Bronwyn really interesting is that she is grappling so hard to try to maintain and build close relationships because everyone around her has some sort of distance, especially her partner Todd. But we have seen the relationship that she has with her mother be very strained, and Muzzy just seems like a really awful, cold person to her. Her relationship with her father is very complex because he has very advanced dementia, and she's like frozen in this moment in time here. She's losing her daughter.
My God.
And the relationship that she has built maybe the most within this group this season is Whitney. And then this episode, we see a turning point here where that relationship is now either severed or severely frayed based on the fact that Bronwyn went and kind of let Meredith know what was talked about about her drinking on the plane. So I'm interested to see how this affects Bronwyn's potential spiral in terms of not having anyone close to her.
That's tough, man. Tough for Bronwyn.
Yeah,
I'm a Bronwyn fan.
For Bronwyn. Who do you sympathize most within this group?
Well, as somebody who is currently struggling with the alcohol problem, and pills, maybe Meredith. No, I don't know. I do find that to be like the depth of a drinking problem being brought to the forefront of a friend this discussion like that. It hits home, and it's just like, that is such a big tangled mess of a thing to just like shit on a friend about, you know what I mean? Like to bring that up in that kind of a setting.
So from what you saw this episode, what do you think Whitney's intent was around bringing up the fact that maybe Meredith has a substance problem?
I don't know, because it could be a good thing to just like put it out there, like just to say it, you know, to if you can mention it, you can manage it. That's what they say about problems. If it's mentionable, it's manageable, you know? So like there could be some good positive move. It could be a positive move, like pulling a Band-Aid off, like it's a little bit harsh, a little bit whatever, just to get the person to think about it. Because, you know, you can't make somebody change. They have to want to change themselves. So to bring it up to the group and to have it presented like that, it could be an opportunity. It could go one of two ways. It could make the person run and hide and exasperate the problem, or it could put it at the forefront where it's okay, now we have to talk about this because things aren't going great. I don't know. Yeah, also, I haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians, so there was like a lot I didn't get.
I think that it's pretty clear to me that Whitney was being malicious in bringing this up.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that's interesting about this, though, is that when Meredith is accusing Whitney of being malicious and talking behind her back, and they show the clip of the lunch that Whitney and Bronwyn had, Bronwyn's actually the one that brings up drinking and asks Whitney if she saw drinking. Like, she's the one that brought that up in front of the camera, at least from the context of this episode. Yeah. So the fact that Bronwyn is, reframing this a little bit as being, well, I guess Meredith is doing more of the framing this as Whitney bringing this up, but Bronwyn is not really taking ownership. I don't think it's going to do any favors for her.
No, definitely not.
And Whitney, or her and Meredith, if when this gets played back at the reunion.
Yeah. Yeah, because, it's dangerous. You don't want to be pointing fingers if you live in a finger house, Don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. Don't point fingers if you live in a finger house.
Are you drunk?
So in terms of like the strategic decisions that are happening here, do you think anyone is really gaining a lot of ground within the social status of this group in this episode, or anyone losing a lot of ground?
I think it's hard to say if anyone was necessarily gaining ground. It didn't seem to me like there was any singular like big push for more space within the group. I would say it was nice to see. So what was the name of the lady that put together the brunch?
That's Mary.
And Mary's she's going back to her church.
Yeah. So it's actually a cult.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
she's
cool.
a cult leader. But the church was closed for the last like 2 or 3 years, and they've been undergoing renovation. So they finally like rebuilt it. And last episode ended with her delivering her like sermon and the reopening of the church.
Is it what's the denomination? Do you know?
I can't remember what it is.
Oh, okay, like Scientology or something. It's not.
No,
is it a Mormon?
Like,
is it a version of Mormon?
No, it's Baptist. Maybe. Let me.
Okay, Baptist.
Pause
Pentecostal.
Pause for googling. Let's see.
Pause for a Google. This is the song that plays when Craig Googles something.
It's a Pentecostal church.
I nailed it. Pentecostal. That's what I grew up in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about it.
Oh, it's
no. You don't need to dive into any religious trauma on here.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So in terms of Mary's son, we are seeing continuation of the storyline where he's struggling with substance issues as well. He did attend rehab going into this season, and then he's come out and still continues to be having issues. So,
but at least he's got a bit of a framework that may help him going forward.
Yeah. I think that like he is really the emotional anchor for Mary's story, and last episode was really did a good job of kind of tying the reopening of the church to this act that she is like an attempt from Mary to try to save her son in the only way that she knows how, and just overall a very like a really tragic story.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it's just nice to see somebody like Mary, whatever. If you're dealing with something like that, just to have some normalcy in your life, be able to have some moments of, you just have brunch with the gals.
Yeah, totally.
I read, I read some recaps on this episode, and people were complaining because this is a sequel. This is a brunch sequel, like a sequel in terms of the setting of a brunch with the gals. And last time there was more effort, more fanfare put into it. So, what do you think was lacking on the brunch spread and the brunch layout from this episode as compared to the original?
Food. I didn't.
Didn't see any food. No food at all.
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill.
And I remember,
I've seen a lot of like group meals this season, and it was like there's no like real theme here. It's just like a follow-up brunch from Mary's. It immediately follows Mary's service. So yeah, I think that it was not intended to be big of a deal.
Point here, yeah. Right.
I wasn't invited. Mary's dog didn't invite me.
Craig,
okay.
I've been meaning to say this to you, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but you were like the least Christ-like person. You're the least Christian.
And that does it for this week.
Boots me out. I got a cease and desist.
Yeah, in terms of the strategic decisions here, I think that like Meredith is maybe the most interesting, like making the most interesting stories. Her wanting to basically throw Bronwyn under the bus with Whitney by trying to pivot the fight at brunch to be about Meredith and Whitney as opposed to Meredith and Brittany. I think that's a really smart move on Meredith's part. Like, I think that is a really good deflection because everyone is ganging up on her now over her like behavior and her treatment of Brittany, and to pivot that to be about Whitney's actually being a snake and talking behind people's back. That's really one of her only moves here, because she's starting to lose Lisa's support. She's like, Lisa was even backing up the like what Meredith supposedly said in a classy way, that it's either me or Brittany. The fact that Lisa is being like, actually what Meredith said in a classy way was it's me or it's Brittany, and like supporting Heather here is showing that that Meredith is losing Lisa's support. And that's probably the byproduct of Meredith not being a really great supporter of Lisa when everyone was ganging up on her. So there's a little bit of karma here, but I think that the move, like this redirect maneuver that she's doing in order to make things about Whitney talking behind people's back, and Whitney is right that she is often Meredith's scapegoat, and she is here again. I think that is the smartest play, even though it is opening up the question surrounding Meredith's substance use. But as we've seen, that's already been opened up already. So, you know, there's not a lot of additional risk in doing this here.
No. Yeah.
So I think that was a smart move. I think the fact that she immediately follows this up with patching things up with Brittany is also a very like smart move.
Yeah.
She's Brittany has been embraced a bit more by the rest of the women, but it's still not like a real strong foundation. They just supported her a lot in the moment, but as we saw at the brunch, Heather is like, well, she doesn't like Brittany and she doesn't like Brittany, and we still supported her. Like, no one still really likes Brittany. It's just like, in the moment, they were supporting her because they're human, and it was also a strategic opportunity. But so I think the fact that Meredith is trying to patch things up with Brittany is another smart move, especially after the scene that we got where they are getting mani-pedis, and Lisa says, I just had a talk with Brittany and said that you guys should talk. It seems like whether this is Lisa planting a seed so that they can re-galvanize a side and pull Brittany in, I think that is maybe the most opportunity that they have, because Brittany has been on Lisa's side, but this conflict that she has with Meredith has kind of fractured that. If they can kind of regroup, then all of a sudden there's like three people on a side, as opposed to just like, you know, Meredith and Lisa constantly being ganged up on by the group and like kind of supporting each other and kind of not. So I actually think that the biggest gains here in terms of the social structure and the strategy are for Lisa and Meredith, and that is just by kind of starting to pull Brittany back and maybe kind of re-galvanizing things, and also fracturing Bronwyn and Whitney, who were developing as a bit of a duo and becoming close and being able to work together. So I feel like Meredith and Lisa have gained quite a bit over this episode, even if it doesn't seem like it, because they have been a little bit on the defense with everyone attacking them in a variety of situations.
Yeah, big time. I was just looking up some pictures of the women so I can get a better. I'm still trying to. Sorry, I was just trying to imagine them naked. No, I'm kidding.
What were there any highlights that you had that we haven't covered?
Yeah, we discussed like the Bonsai moment was really interesting. Cameras and then the therapy session. The therapy session was so that was Meredith, right, and her daughter.
So Brittany and her daughter.
Brittany and her daughter. Yeah. I felt a lot of sympathy for Brittany in that scene, and I thought it was a good testament to maybe the personal growth, or just the idea of like of taking accountability for your actions or your choices in life is not an easy task, and it's also not like there's no specific roadmap to accountability. Is, you know, you want to take accountability, okay, do these 3 things and you've taken accountability, you know. Some of it is just like listening and sitting in it and really hearing how your actions, and your decisions, what kind of consequences they had on the people in your life. And I thought that you know, in that scene, a lot of it is just kind of her sitting quietly and letting her daughter articulate very well how hurt she was when she felt like Brittany had chosen the new man in her life over these children that she bore. So yeah, and a lot of this episode I felt like was centered around shitting on Brittany, or like Brittany did something bad, or like trash Brittany, or, you know, not invited, and, you know,
she's a sad specimen.
yeah, a sad specimen. That was really speaking of sad specimens, good thing they got rid of that mattress. But I felt like that person, that Brittany, was a very sympathetic character in this episode, as like an outsider kind of walking into it. I don't really know I don't know exactly what Brittany did. I heard from her child's mouth what that was like for her. Do you hear anything from the therapist in that episode? I don't think so, hey?
Yeah, the therapist does talk a little bit.
Okay.
There's one moment within that therapy session where Brittany says something like, I'm here, I don't want anything out of this. I want to make sure that my daughter gets something out of this. And the therapist is like, that's not how family therapy works. You are entitled to getting something out of this as well.
Which I like, and I think that because there's a level of, I don't think she's aware of it. I don't think she's doing this on purpose, but there's a level of manipulation when someone is, I'm a sad person and I know don't give me anything. I don't deserve anything. I'm just a little piece of poo. Just flush me down the toilet. You know, it's like, no, you're not. You're a human being and you deserve to have wants and needs and whatever.
Yeah. I also felt that this was manipulative. Like it seemed more manipulative than genuine to me, just based purely on what we have heard from Bronwyn's daughter about her behavior in the past, and the Brittany that she's describing and that Brittany is admitting to being is very different than the Brittany that she wants to present on camera. And the fact that, you know, it does seem like manipulation tactics to just be like, oh, I don't want anything out of this. I don't deserve anything out of this. I'm just like doing this for you.
Like Brittany is my mom. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, it feels almost like narcissist behavior, like pulling, like she's saying things that make it seem like she's there for the daughter, but she's still centering everything around herself. And
because the default for a narcissist is like, oh, this person only thinks about themselves, they're just doing things for themselves, but there is definitely a level of narcissism that's like, oh no, you guys go on without me, oh no, I can't, oh, you'll have fun. That's narcissistic too, you know?
Yeah. Because it's about like the image that she is creating of herself, so that she can point to this being like, I am trying to I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to like do the right thing in these situations.
I'm doing the work and no one.
When really she's doing like the bare minimum of work here. And we have seen leading up to this moment at therapy, like, this is just kind of like an afterthought for her. Like the fact that she's just like, oh, after having this fight on the plane, it made me stop and realize, oh, I should focus on my relationship with my daughter. Like, it's very much feels like an afterthought to me, and, you know, just part of her trying to build this image. And it's pretty heartbreaking to see her daughter get pulled in there, and you know, because she articulates her fear about this very clearly. I am afraid that I'm going to get more hurt out of this as opposed to more love. And that seems like a very valid fear, especially based on some of the off-camera behavior that she has said. Like last time that they last time they tried to patch things up, she made time out of her day to come over to Brittany's place on her lunch break. And then Brittany was just there with her boyfriend, Jared, and just made out in front of her instead of like talking with things. That is just like,
oh my God.
So ridiculous. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now that the cameras are rolling, she's trying to put on this image of like, you know, this mother that is really trying to make things right. It does not ring as genuine to me at all. But
no, not at all.
That's just my takeaway.
I hope that the daughter, like it's tough when you're when you're a child in that situation, that type of parent, because like over the years, you try and you try and you try, and like you try to keep your heart open to having like any kind of a relationship that's a two-way, you know?
Yeah.
And eventually you kind of have to close your heart to that, but it's not necessarily like closing your heart and being like being cold and like and denying that type of a love could ever exist per se, but like if you keep hanging your hopes on that, you're just going to get hurt over and over and over again. It seems like the daughter has some good growth, and it seems like the daughter has I hope it looks like she maybe has like a decent sense of self-worth, and I feel optimistic that the daughter is going to be able to move on with her life and whatnot. But it's tough when like the mom's like, we're going to go do family therapy, you know, and I've been there before, and then it's like, well, okay. Well, I hope you get out of it what you want, because I'm not coming into it with any expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can get burned.
Yeah.
Get enough stains on a mattress, you have to throw it away.
Oh, there's your problem. Yeah, your mattress. Yeah, it's full.
It's full. Okay, who are your stars from this episode?
The bonsai tree. The stars in the episode, I would say, I think Bronwyn just kind of orchestrating that moment with the mother and the daughter. I thought that really popped for me. It was also just like a satisfying thing to watch. You know, it's like there's like an ASMR type element to seeing somebody mess around with
something.
Tree roots. Yeah,
totally. It's going to be a nice little home for Gwen's chameleon, I think.
Oh my God, that was the other thing I wanted to say. Yeah. Hot local chameleons in your area. I hope they kind of like side focus on this, on the love life of the daughter's chameleon.
Let's get a spin-off. I don't remember the chameleon's name, but let's get a dating spin-off.
Real chameleons of Housewives.
Okay, let's workshop this show a little bit. What is it going to be? Because we also talked about Muzzy needing to get laid as well in this in this scene. So maybe we can get like a competition show going. See who gets laid first, the chameleon or Muzzy.
Yeah. Love Island.
Muzz Island.
Muzz Island. Yeah. If you hit it off, we'll pay for the second date.
Yeah. Any other stars from this episode?
No, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of classics in here. I did enjoy the little back and forth in the U-Haul truck between those two ladies,
Whitney and Heather,
and I think Heather bringing up like her dad's drinking problem. I don't know. I thought that was good. It's nice to have that kind of stuff. I mean, it's I think maybe one of the things that's kind of like draws my eye to reality television is you see these people and they're you know, most of the time they're done up in makeup and great outfits, and like they seem to have money and they have like opportunities to like live cool lives or whatnot, but they are like just struggling, and they like you can't escape. Life is hard most of the time. Like no matter what your social situation is, you could be the richest person, you could be the poorest person. We're all dealing with the same heartache. We're dealing with the same family issues. Like
everyone's
that stuff
got
is
shit. Yeah,
inescapable. We all got shit. We're all going through shit. So
we're all sad specimens. Yeah. My
sad
stars. My stars from this episode are, I think, number one, I am going to give it to Meredith, just because I think the strategy, the gameplay here, I think that she has just made a lot of ground. She's still on defense, but I feel like she's in a way better position than she was going into this episode now that, she's patched things up with Brittany, that she has caused a potential schism between Whitney and Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm going to give to Bronwyn. Like you said, that scene that we get with her and her mom and her daughter is a standout scene in terms of the presentation this episode. Thematically, it was captivating, and it really built a lot of depth to Bronwyn's character. Just this really lonely character that is emerging. That Bronwyn, I think it's really fascinating. It's heartbreaking. It's multidimensional, and there's a reason why we've been calling her LeBronwyn. She's just got a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I think for my last star, I want to give it to Brittany. I think Brittany is, again, she's not like, there's just a lot going on with Brittany. None of it is within her control. She does not come across very sympathetic to me, even though she really should. The fact that there's a lot of, there was an attack launched on her on the plane, and the fact that, she has a strained relationship with her daughter, but the fact that, she's not able to turn this into sympathy from us as an audience. I think she's really messy, and that's one of the reasons why we watch the show. So got to give her points for that.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I thought she showed a lot of restraint in this episode, which could be a personal growth thing, or it could be she's just trying to hide the monster within.
She showed restraint?
I thought that I felt like there was like a general a restraint in the brunch scenes. Typically there was some. No, wait, she wasn't at the brunch. No, maybe I'm thinking of Meredith, which seems like no, not Meredith. God damn it, Meredith! Tim is doing the Google. Oh, Heather Gay. She wasn't really prominent in this episode very much.
Yeah, we didn't actually get a lot of Heather. We just got her dressed like Morticia Addams, getting rid of her stained mattress.
Yeah. But also maybe some props to Heather. Sometimes like you're on a team, right? And like the team is jiving and whatnot, and you just got to know like, all right, I'm not on the ice right now. I'm not part of this play, but I'm here. I'm part of the team, so I'm gonna be here, but I'm not gonna muddy the water with more of my stuff. I don't know, Craig. I don't know, man. Help.
Yeah, I think that about does it for this week. Tim, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just follow at Lucy's Comedy Club, LUCIS COMEDY CLU. You guessed it, B. It's a little comedy club here in Winnipeg. We've got great shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's an exciting little time to come out and be entertained, folks. And I'm posting sketches on there and stuff like that now. It's going to be a fun little hub on Instagram for some comedy here in Winnipeg. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I'm Craig Midwinter. You can just find me manning our social media platforms at Bravo Outsider on TikTok and Instagram. Not posting a lot there, so don't expect much. But if you do want to see us posting stuff, definitely subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Until next week, good night, baby. You are loved.
Okay.